Hey guys, welcome back to the Quantum Connection. I'm here, of course, with Joe, the CEO, Principal Agent of Quantum. My name is John. I am an independent social media manager and digital marketer that works alongside with Joe and his team. And we're going to get into episode 2 of the Quantum Connection.
Good morning, bro.
Good morning, man. And happy birthday.
Oh,
birthday
thanks.
just passed.
Yeah, it did. But for people that don't know, we record these at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning. Yes. So when I say good morning, it's really morning.
Truly good morning. Yeah, we come in here and it's dark.
It is dark, yes.
All right, so what we're going to talk about today is, since it is October 3rd, AEP is literally around the corner. We're going to talk about how you and your team prep and what kind of expectations you have for AEP.
Okay.
This is more geared towards agents, so they kind of maybe can get some information and what they're looking towards as far as AEP comes. Cool?
Okay.
All right. So I have a couple questions for you. Definitely, I want to hear your heart on it. I want to hear your vision on it. So if you can, just to get started, can you please explain what AEP is for maybe new agents or brokers who are unfamiliar, and maybe the Medicare beneficiaries that are also curious, what AEP is and why it's such a critical time of the year for your industry?
So the AEP is the annual election period. It is super important because that's the one time of the year that the seniors can make any type of change on their benefits when it comes to Medicare. So for us as agents, it's our busiest time of the year. That's when we're retaining our book of business, calling our clients, making sure that they're taken care of, but also trying to grow our book of business. This is that one time of the year where you can grow by 100, 200, 300, 400 members in one AEP. My first AEP, and I'm not going to say that it was skill, it was the Lord's blessing on my life. That AEP, I sold over 400 apps, and it was luckily that I got hired by a carrier, and that year they were doing a huge flip. Okay. They were flipping members from one plan to another. Man, it happens once in a lifetime, and I was blessed enough to have that opportunity. But AEP is that time of the year where it's kind of like taxes for an accountant, where you know that you got to get into it. For 45 days, this is all I'm focused on. This is a time that you're not going on vacation. This is a time that your family says, sayonara, I'll see you later. I probably won't see you for a while. Your weekends are short. You're working a lot of hours. Your schedule is probably from 8 to 8, 8 to 9, no problem. And you're just grinding throughout this time frame. So AEP is that time of the year in the Medicare industry. But in our industry as well, what has been added has been that open enrollment period for ACA as well.
Got it.
So they kind of intertwine a little bit. So Medicare is from October 15th to December 7th. The open enrollment period for ACA is from November 1st till about December 15th.
That was right over. Yeah.
Right over. Yeah. Sometimes there is extensions, but it's usually supposed to be from November 1st to December 15th. So just so agents are aware, it's a super busy time of the year. If you've got two types of book of businesses, you got to take care of both clients.
Right. Yeah, it's so funny that you say that because I told Marlene that my wife, who's also a broker that works with you, I told her, I was like, hey, once October 15 comes, I was like, I'm going to dap you up. I'll see you for Christmas.
That's right. No, I only see you after December 15th.
Yeah. I was like, I got the kids. She's hustling.
Absolutely. Yeah. But at least she's got a good husband that cares and understands that.
Yeah. I know it could be tough.
It is tough. It is tough because, my wife has always been understanding because she used to work in the industry. Right. So for her, she understands exactly what I do and understands how busy it gets. But as an agency principal now, it slows down for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because now, since I don't sell, now we're planning towards 2027 after.
That makes sense.
Or for planning for 2026. But when I was an agent, it was the busiest time of the year. But now my busy season really starts right when AHIP comes out all the way till just after AEP.
Just contracting,
onboarding, agents making sure that they're getting certified. Some of them are moving over their contracts and they wait until the very last minute to make a decision. Yeah. Now we're jumping through hoops. Carriers have blackout dates, all those different things.
Got it. And you guys have tons of training.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's tons of training going on. There's tons of I hate to say it, parties.
That's true. Yeah.
Where
Kickoffs.
where the kickoffs, where the carriers, doctors' offices are letting you know what they do, and it's just busy.
Yeah.
It's really busy that time of the year.
That's awesome, man. Well, I know it's coming up. You guys are so prepared, so it's exciting to see. What would you say is, as from an owner, I know you just kind of touched on that, what does AEP mean to you as far as, like you said, from the owner perspective? When you're looking at your agents, like, do you have certain expectations, or do you have certain like hopes and goals? Maybe number wise, maybe not, or maybe just like work effort wise. Do you have certain goals for them?
For me, I was having a conversation just the other day with someone that said, your AEP is determined by how you work throughout the rest of the year.
Okay.
So AEP is just that 45-day period. But if you're not working January through October, your AEP is going to be slow.
Right.
This is a year-round industry. And if you're not giving it 100% year-round, sorry to say, your AEPs are never going to be that great.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only way people in the industry, people in the community know who you are, is when you're grinding throughout the entire year. If you're not in preparation for AEP throughout that year, sorry, you're just not going to cut it.
Yeah, so like people who wait till October.
Yeah, exactly. You can't, everything's already taken. Doctor's office, community events, social media ads that you're running, anything that you're doing, it's already taken up.
Yeah.
You're just last minute and you're just going to get the crumbs.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to hit a home run, but you've never even swung a bat before.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know on the marketing side, and please definitely speak to this, this time of the year for this industry, it's going to be flooded with content, flooded with ads, flooded with mailers, emails. So I know the beneficiaries are definitely going to be
Overwhelmed.
drowning with all that information. During AEP, I know we talked about the prep work. Maybe we'll get into a little bit more later. But during AEP, how do you think your agents can, or you as an agency, kind of stand out above the noise for your book of business or for new business?
Once again, I think it's the prep work that you do that sets you apart from everything else. It's going to be the preparation that you're doing to understand the benefits that are coming for the new year.
That's good.
Understanding the prescription changes, understanding the industry changes as well. If an agent is prepared for that, you'll automatically stand above the rest. Because in the last year or two, there's been so many changes in our industry that there's a lot of agents that don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
They're just, I can read the summary of benefits, I'm ready. Well, that's only part of what happens in our industry, summary of benefits. But it's a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. You're trying to talk to your carriers, your doctor's offices to understand what their strategies are. So not every member is made for every plan, and every carrier understands that.
Yeah.
So as an agent, you have to understand that part as well, knowing that they're looking for a certain type of books of businesses or a certain type of clientele. It's not a secret. We all know that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what really separates us. It's part of our educate, serve, and elevate. For us, it's about that educational part. We spent a lot of time throughout this pre-AP with every carrier here in the office, making sure that everyone was prepared and understood the benefits and which way they can serve the community and serve their clients best.
That's awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think one thing that you guys do very well, I think you set the tone for that, is definitely any type of like in-house training that you have with carriers or whatever. You don't just restrict it to your agents. You're like, hey, if you're an agent that's lost out there or you need help, you're welcome to come. We'll share about it. So you kind of keep like an open house. Because you want to help, I'm assuming, right?
So for us, when we do our trainings here at the office, we do them virtually as well. And anybody that wants to show up can show up. Like, I'm not going to hold back from anybody. I'm just like, hey, show up for those that want to show up. I don't care if you're part of a different agency. We're not even going to push you on the fact of, you got to be a part of the team. You got to do this. No. Just come on. There's times that we go to different conferences, whether it's Medicarians or any of that stuff, and I'll just invite other agents to come.
That's awesome.
They don't even know these conferences exist, and I'm like, hey, come along. I think it's good for you guys to learn about the industry. If you're a better agent because of it, fantastic. I think that helps us as an industry. Right now, our industry has been hurt by so many bad actors. that for me, I was like, why withhold information from other people when they could use that information? And if we can help more people become healthier or find the suitable insurance, why not?
That's good, man. I mean, this was not part of my questions, but you just mentioned something, bad actors. So for agents who are heading into AEP, what are some things that they, as maybe best practices that they should do to maybe, because I know with bad actors, bad movements, bad, ways of doing things, that will bring more regulation. That will make selling harder. That will make all of this more complicated. So what are some maybe tips you could do as far as like some pointers for just keeping it right and moving in the right way, or maybe things to avoid doing?
To me, I think there's the plans, the carriers will let you know what you should be doing when it comes to an appointment, how you should structure it, the conversations you should be having with your clients, what you should be going over. Obviously, for me, we train our agents to, hey, we want to go over prescriptions, doctor's offices. Are they in the middle of a treatment process? Are they, if somebody has cancer, why change them right now?
That's good. Yeah, that's true.
Why?
Yeah.
There's no need for that. Just so you can get paid, but now you might delay referrals that are already in the system.
Yeah.
No. Come on, man. Leave that person alone and just let them know, well, I can't talk to you until you're done with that treatment or until you're cleared by the doctors. At that point, we'll worry about it. But for now, the most important part for you is to make sure that you're healthy.
Yeah.
And that you get back to 100%. Senior insurance might not be the best thing right now, but there's too many agents that just don't care.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that we could do as an industry, and I see it a lot in the Hispanic community, is that we see bad actors, but we never report them.
Okay.
We never report the bad actors. We're just kind of like, we don't want to mess with their family, their income, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But by them being bad actors, they're affecting our family, our income. Just because we decided to overlook it and say, no, eventually they'll get caught.
Yeah.
Eventually they will change. What happens if they don't change?
Yeah.
It just, unfortunately, it hurts us all.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you're supposed to call 1-800-CMS and all this other stuff. Man, no. But, have those conversations when you are seeing those bad things and let the carriers know.
Yeah.
Talk to your upline. They'll know exactly who to let know, who to communicate those messages with. But just don't call 1-800-Medicare, because unfortunately that hurts us as well.
Yeah.
By doing that stuff, it's just knowing who to talk to and where that agent could get coaching from. Because sometimes agents do it and they don't know they're doing what's wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
They really don't know.
They might have been taught the wrong thing.
They might have been taught the wrong thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents and agencies that literally just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They get into this industry, and thank goodness for my previous career in, I'll say it now. I work for Humana, and by far one of the best training programs they had at that time was that Humana program training, where we went to spend 3 weeks in Kentucky, and they taught us about the entire industry.
Oh yeah, Marlene did that too. I remember.
3 weeks in Kentucky, and they taught us about the entire industries. We knew exactly how to do it, what's wrong, what's right, all this stuff. But by far the best training.
It's more about, I wouldn't say like, oh, you're snitching on somebody.
Yeah.
It's more about just holding each other accountable.
That's correct. Yeah.
I mean, if it is a bad actor, if they're compromising in one small area, they might be more culpable, do more and more and more. It just gets worse.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches. That's how everyone's scared of that. No, snitches get stitches. No, I don't want to report nobody.
Yeah, we hold each other accountable, we just get better.
Absolutely.
Right?
We all get better.
That's good. I know we talked about the trainings you guys do, pre-AEP, prepping and all that stuff. During AEP, what do you think, like for agent or broker, what does their day-to-day look like? I know it could be very different for everybody. But what do you think like an average day-to-day looks like? And I know they're extremely busy.
Yeah.
So can you maybe speak to that? Maybe as with your experience?
For me, from my experience, my AEPs were always about my appointments, my events, and my calls.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to get my calls out the way as soon as possible. Never let an opportunity go to waste. My events, making sure that I took full advantage of my events, not just sitting there on my phone.
Yeah.
And then my appointments, because I usually schedule my appointments. My layout of my appointments were I'd start at 8, and then I'd schedule every appointment every 2 hours.
Nice. Okay.
But if I planned it out correctly, I could schedule my appointments almost every hour.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were close enough vicinity.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Being in Central Florida. So if I'm not driving from Sanford all the way to Point Siena. That would absolutely kill your day at that point.
You're like, hey, today's Palm Bay.
Yeah, today's Palm Bay. Today's Sanford day.
Yeah.
So I want to spend my time in Sanford or Sanford out to Mount Springs.
Yeah.
Those type of areas. Then at that point, I can schedule my appointments every hour. But then my tabletops, if I'm doing tabletops, or if I'm working with doctor's offices, making sure that they also knew that my time was valuable as well.
Yeah.
Because, I did have a large book of business, so I couldn't just waste time and hang out with people in that time of the year.
Yeah.
Great. Between January to September, we can hang out, but not throughout the AEP. Yeah, we can do this, we can hang out. No, but not this time of the year. Yeah. Everything was next. As a new agent, for you, if you're a new agent, you've got to try a little bit of everything, even the things you don't like.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. The new agent has to do a little bit of everything. You're doing tabletops. You're doing social media marketing. You're visiting doctor's office. You're visiting dentists. You're doing bingos. You're doing birthdays. You're doing a little bit of everything until you can finally develop your book of business and understand what you do well.
Yeah.
I had one agent that called me yesterday and she's like, man, I really like working at the tabletop events. I like these tabletop.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't get that very often.
Yeah.
This is your way, tabletops. Now, if we can add in other parts of the business to the tabletop events, perfect, fantastic. The hardest thing that I'm trying to figure out is how will this industry evolve?
Yeah.
How will it evolve? Because we have field agents, but what's the next part of our industry that's going to change? We had call centers added, but now call centers are being hurt. So where are we going next, and how can we make sure that we are evolving with the industry?
Yeah. I mean, I think, in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, the bigger your book of business gets, maybe not as much in person can you do. So you got to get more comfortable with the phones, which a lot of times I've heard people have a hard time with. And I'm sure just email marketing is also,
email marketing, text messaging. And I know some of our agents are really good with WhatsApp and sending messages through that way, or social media. For me, it was social media. I'd have all the seniors follow me on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Or Instagram. Yeah. And every time I post, it was just a way of communicating with them as well.
True.
And I never let my posts were never wild. Wasn't anything crazy out there where you're
wild.
I might be wild, but my posts were never wild. So I never put anything political.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
People can hate you for that stuff. Whether you go one way or another, they'll hate you.
Somebody's always going to be mad.
Someone's always going to be mad, so it's just easier to stay away.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always about, hey, let me post a picture about family.
Got it.
Your seniors see you, and they always, every time they liked it, or every time they put a message, they thought about you.
That's true. Yeah.
That's just the way
That's how it works.
That's the way it works. That's marketing, right? So I was just doing that. So I'm hoping that we can evolve as an industry, or as an agency, we can evolve as well and stay with the times. And that's why I really do like young agents.
Yeah.
Because they're a lot quicker to adapt to those changes. For me, it would be a lot harder because I'm like, old school, field, get in your car and drive.
Or I need a billboard.
I need a billboard, or I need a bus wrapped, or something like that. Yeah. Well, social media could work. Maybe it's TikTok. Yeah. Who knows what comes up with AI now?
Yep, I agree. And in the in-person stuff, it sounds silly.
Yeah.
But I've seen how effective, especially with the senior community, the bean auctions, the bingos, those things. They're low cost.
Absolutely.
If you really plan it right. But they have so much fun.
Yeah.
And if you build that rapport, they're gonna come back and they're gonna keep enjoying that time with you and recommending people. I think that's a utilized thing.
Facts. Right? I really do think that the new version of an agent is that they have to grow their book of business to a certain size and then eventually hire somebody to assist them through the process.
Yeah.
So that way they can be a hybrid agent. Somebody that can do field, but somebody that can sell over the phone.
Right.
But somebody that can do social media marketing and have all these different channels. Yeah. But when you get stuck in one way and that one way gets taken away from you, how do you survive after that?
Yeah, it's a hard pivot.
It's a hard pivot.
Yeah.
That's why the phones, that was great, but now they're getting, they're being hurt.
Yeah.
Because of the changes in this industry. So,
again, because of bad actors?
Yeah, bad actors, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Now, this is maybe a little geared towards the beneficiary, but hopefully you can shed some insight. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see beneficiaries make if they don't review their plans during AEP? Like they're like, oh no, just leave it, you know?
What happens when a senior doesn't look at their ANOC, doesn't have a conversation with their agent, is that unfortunately they just lose benefits that they're not aware of.
Yeah.
Or they pay more for prescriptions that they didn't know was changing. They were just like, no, this has worked fantastic for me. It covers my prescriptions, da da da. And next you know, there's a formulary change. And now they're paying more.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't know. Or their health changed and they were on a give back plan when they should have been on a HMO plan, on a regular core plan, or on a PPO that gave more flexibility. Whatever it is, they're just losing benefits. They're losing opportunities for richer benefits in their lives. For me, when I think of a senior that didn't take advantage, I always think of the fact that, man, I think of the many population.
Yeah.
Where they could have gotten a better plan with maybe a higher food card benefit. Or a better plan that kept their network and their prescriptions the same, with lower copays or covered more dental, or covered whatever needs that they had, whether it was hearing aids. Those are the type of benefits that I think about every AEP where somebody could have taken advantage. Now, there are a lot of seniors that don't need to make a change.
Sure.
They make a change just because they want to, but truthfully, they should have just stayed with their plan. They just I need to make a change. But our industry, we've realized one thing, that the younger you are, the more likely you are to make a change.
Okay.
Once you get to a certain age, like around 72 to 75, you're probably gonna stick with your plan. Unless there's a drastic change. It just works. Doesn't it happen to everybody? As you get older, you're kind of like, do I really need this crap?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm all right. And I think the seniors are like that as well. That first couple of years, like, ooh, let me try it out. Let me see, maybe this plan works better. No, this one got this. And then at one point you realize, like, none of that matters.
Yeah.
All I really want is to cover my health, make sure it covers my doctors and it covers my prescriptions, and I'm a healthier person at the end.
That's true. I know, like, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like, yes, the beneficiaries should be looking into these, but it also takes a quality, dedicated agent to make sure you're communicating that as well, right?
Absolutely. I think it takes a quality agent to make sure they maintain their book of business, but they're having conversations with the clients so that way the clients aren't just switching just to switch.
Right.
That you're asking them profound questions. That's my biggest pet peeve with agents, is the fact that too many agents are literally selling the food cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're literally saying, we got 400, we got 500 here, we got 300 here. Your health insurance shouldn't be about that.
Yeah.
Your health insurance, let's ask more questions. Let's ask deeper questions. Let's find out about your doctors, your prescriptions. Do you prefer an HMO or PPO? Why do you prefer an HMO? Why do you prefer a PPO?
That's where it applies.
This is where you want to know, I have certain clients that say, I want a PPO because I want the flexibility. I travel like this. I would go this way. I do this. I spend time with my daughter at this location. I'll do that. Why don't we ask more questions as an agent? We're just trying to get through these appointments so fast so we can hang out and not really ask deeper questions, more profound questions that will make sure that the client's assured that their plan is the best plan. That way, their marketing that they're seeing online, they're like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I talked to my agent. My agent asked me a lot of questions, and they understand my needs and what's important to me.
Right.
It's not just the food card.
Yeah.
You'll know it when you talk to somebody that the food card is the most important part. Fantastic. But that's not everybody.
Yeah.
That's only a certain population that the food card is the most important thing.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people that are many that say, I don't care about the food card. I want to make sure my doctor, my prescriptions, and I have flexibility to see, or that if I get this procedure, or that I'm having these type of pains, that all this is covered.
I think it's like, you as an agent, you need to find that balance of like my book of business during AEP and making sure I always remember I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve.
I am. Yes, exactly. I'm here to serve. And that you taking your clients and just being short with them by being, hey, this gives you the biggest food card. Fantastic. Here you go. But later they're having billing issues.
Yeah. That's time to go to the doctor.
Or they end up in the hospital. Next thing you know, they're getting a hospital bill.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I've realized that now as I gotten older, man, that's anxiety for somebody. Yeah. That's stress where you're like, wait 1 second, I just got a $30,000 hospital bill. How am I going to take care of this?
Yeah. Especially as a senior, I think data shows like the majority of seniors are counting the dollars. You know, they have very limited income.
Yeah.
So that may not seem that big of a deal to us.
Yeah.
But
well, just think about it. What as I've gotten older or as the agency has grown, one of my biggest stress is taxes.
yeah,
But as you get older, what's your biggest stress? Your hospitals and your doctors and your prescriptions. It's the same thing.
yeah,
So if taxes are a pain to us, imagine your health at that age. You just want somebody to come in and say, I got you, I'm here by your side.
right.
That's what an agent should be doing.
That's the difference between an agent and an advisor.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's facts.
It's good. So with that, how does Quantum step in to make the process easier and less stressful for clients? I know we kind of talked about making sure we're serving first, and we also talked about asking questions. I think that was great. Is there anything else that an agent can do to make sure that when they walk away, their client or potential client feels more reassured than stressed?
I do think the agent can communicate more with their client.
Okay.
It's doing follow-up calls,
Yeah.
follow-up text messages. But I think the other thing that agent can do, and nobody really goes back, technology is a big part of our world now. Who is it the hardest to adapt? Who's the least likely to adapt to the technology? It's going to be a senior.
Right.
Why not go help a senior when it comes to that part? Help you book a business. Hey, have you downloaded the app by the carrier? Create the login. And all those different things that we would normally do, that's not a big deal to us, becomes a mountain for them. Like, wait a second, this is new to me.
Yeah.
Download an app? How do I create a username? But my username is not working. What's my member ID? I see so many numbers on my card. As an agent, we can step in and go, oh, this is your member ID.
Right.
Download these different things. Make life easier for them. And then they're more likely to stick with the plan as well.
For sure.
Which is what the carrier wants.
Right.
This is what, as an agent, we would want. We should want our members to stay with the plan longer. So we build a solid book of business that gives us more renewals.
Right.
That's what the whole industry is about. It's about the renewal business and about switching people.
Yeah. We talked about that before in a video where it's like, you have agents who are just like sell.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You're not going to renew. They're not going to renew. They're going to fall off because you just pushed a hard sale. Everything is about a slow build to success. And it's about renewals like you talked about.
Absolutely. This industry is a slow build that if you build it, it'll provide for you and your family and it can do a great.
Right.
But at year 1, year 2, you're never going to be like, I made $3 million on year 1 and year 2. It's not realistic.
Yeah, that's not real. And you're going to be doing more of a disservice.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
What would you say is maybe an important reason for seniors or Medicare beneficiaries to connect with an agency like Quantum instead of trying to figure out their healthcare benefits alone? Because I know you guys have a very diverse team. You have a very big team across all 50 states, right? Correct? So why should a senior come work with you guys instead of just trying to figure out AEP or their benefits by themselves?
Because of the reasons we mentioned earlier, the educate part.
Right.
Our agents spend maybe like 80 hours a year renewing all their certifications, doing the AHIP, and even renewing their licenses. But then after that, the carriers come in and train specifically about the benefits and how it works for them, or giving them tips and tricks on where their benefits are strong, or revealing to us the things that we just can't read on a piece of paper. That is the part that I think is the most important part. When the carriers come into the office and show us, these are the things that you can't read on the paper that are not there. There's no way a senior would ever find some of this stuff out. They're gonna walk into it maybe, but they'll never be able to find it. Our agents are there for those moments to help the senior when it comes to those scenarios. Like, hey, great, glasses benefits. One carrier will pay for the lens, but that benefit is only lens benefit. It's not the actual it's the frame benefit, not the lens. The lens is free. Yeah. The lens is actually free, but the $200 or $300 that they give you is all for frames. I had no idea, but a senior that sees that wouldn't have any idea. They'd be like, unless they went to the optometrist, then they'll realize after, and they'll say, oh, wait a second, my lenses were free. You should have known that before if you had a good agent that was properly trained, that was doing their research, and that was being educated by the carrier.
That's good, man. So now we're going to talk about, just kind of wrap up here. What are you most excited for AEP this year? I know a lot of changes have happened, and we're heading into a new season. So what are you most excited for AEP this year?
I am excited to see agents hit their goal. Like nothing makes me happier when I see an agent that came out last year, brand new agent, first time. She had a goal, I think it was 100. She hit 75. Brand new agent, had no idea. And I was like, she's like, I didn't hit my goal. I was like, you crushed it.
Yeah.
To my standard, you absolutely crushed it. I hate to see what you do this year now.
Right.
Like, I'd love to see that agent say, I had a goal of 150. She's like, well, I crushed 150.
Right.
I had 200 apps. Man, I love it when I see an agent crushed it. And, you know, AEP is the 45-day window. But you know what really is phenomenal? Is that month of January when that agents get paid. When they get paid that for the hard work, and then they get paid their renewals for the previous year of hard work. Like, to me, that's the I love that time because I get the phone calls. Did we get paid?
Yeah.
I just got paid. I just got paid. Did you see that? Yeah, how much you got? This much.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love it.
That's awesome. So I know we have like kickoffs and all these big events. How do you and your team stay energized and motivated for what is probably the most stressful, busiest time of the year?
We stay motivated by the fact that we all have goals.
Right.
And at least for me, I look at this as sports.
Okay.
In sports, no matter if you are number 2, number 3, number 1, somebody always coming for you.
Sure.
And if you're not number 1, you're always looking towards somebody else and say, I gotta beat that person.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not friends,
Yeah.
but you still gotta beat. You still gotta beat them. So in my mind, I'm literally competing every day, knowing that somebody's out here trying to take what I have or trying to beat me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking towards somebody else saying, I gotta beat that person.
Yeah.
Great, I beat that person now. Now to the next person. I'm always looking that way. How can I beat the next person? How can I beat the next agent? And it's not competing, it's just competition. Not that I'm looking at them and saying, look at what they did. I'm gonna do it this way. No.
Yeah.
Never that type of envy. It's just more like, yo, it's competition. They did this many sales. How can I do that many more sales?
Yeah.
How can I get to the next level? Obviously, our main goal is to serve, is to educate and serve. So how can we do it in a service manner where we're actually taking care of people and looking at what's right? But we've got to work hard.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always going to be, how can I beat that next group? How can I compete and just say, perfect? For me, sports is how I grew up with.
Yeah.
That mentality, that Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mentality. Like, yeah, we're not friends like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. During the game,
we ain't friends. After, we can hang out, we can talk.
Right.
But I'm still going to beat you.
Right. Yeah, like there would never be a Michael Jordan if he didn't have that.
Absolutely. And then at the end of the day, when you have that competition mentality, you can walk away from a battle or a game and say, man, you made me better because you brought the best out of me. I love that.
I was about to say that. Exactly.
I absolutely love that feeling.
That's the iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's healthy. Like, it's just a mentality of like, you're not going to outwork me. I see you.
Absolutely.
I see you moving.
Yeah.
Now that checks me to move harder. That's
absolutely, yeah.
That's good.
But the other thing I think that holds you accountable and makes you strive is your family.
True.
You know, saying I'm going to provide for my family. I think every agent wants to provide for their family.
Of course, yeah.
So whatever those dreams are, every agent has, whether kids, grandkids, or husband or wife, or something that they want to provide for.
Yeah.
And they want to buy a house, they want to buy cars, they want to go on vacation. All those things are goals.
Yeah.
That's what keeps everybody striving. Everyone strives for that stuff, to be able to say, I'm in a good place.
Right. I mean, the way I thought about it when I first tried to become an agent was like, I know like a lot of corporate jobs during the holidays, they'll give you like an end of the year bonus. This 45 days is how you determine what your bonus is.
In January, that's correct. And you start off that year with a nice check where you can be like, man, I got 100. I started off the year with 100, 200, whatever that number is. Or you can even say, man, I started off the year with X amount of dollars, and that's my deposit for my house.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Yeah.
That would be phenomenal. Yeah. Or this is the money that I used to buy a car.
Right.
Or this is how I pay for my family's vacation.
Yeah.
Man, everything's possible. Those are the goals that I think every agent should have. They should have those written down somewhere.
My last question for you. I know every agent is different and there's different seasons and all that stuff. I know there's some agents who will take AEP as, hey, this is defense mode, where I'm just simply protecting my book. And there's other agents like, I'm going to go hunting and I'm going to go find write new stuff. Which one do you think, like, let me phrase that better. When should an agent play defense and when should an agent go hunting? Like,
I think at the beginning of the AEP,
okay,
that's defense mode.
okay,
The pre-AEP, between October 1st to the 15th, that's that period where you're literally having conversations with your clients. Let them know, hey, what's changed in your life?
right,
These are the benefits that, and if this has changed, this could be a better option. But then October 15th to December 7th, that's hunting season. So the first 15 days, you better get on that phone and start calling all of your members.
Yeah.
And if you have a huge book of business, hire somebody.
Hire somebody. Yeah.
Hire
Like
somebody.
we were thinking about hiring our 17-year-old daughter. Like, hey, just make phone calls. Just hey, I'm Marlene's secretary.
That's correct.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
Not talk plan stuff. Just check in.
Just checking in, or if not, schedule some time for a conversation because you can't get to everybody. But if you have a big book of business, hire somebody. Defense mode at the beginning and then attack mode after.
That's awesome.
Now, I do think that an agent, once again, we talked about which clients are most likely to change. An agent shouldn't call those people first.
Right.
Call the ones that are most likely to change. And then at the end of the AEP, call the ones that are least likely to change. So those are gonna be the fastest. So it gives you an opportunity to go hunting at the same time because those people aren't gonna probably change as much. So they're not as long of conversations.
Okay.
They're probably like, no, I'm really, really good. My prescriptions haven't changed. My docs haven't changed. Perfect.
Yeah.
You're already in that stage of life.
You're happy. You're good.
You're happy. You're good. Yeah.
That's good, man. All right. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing. I know AEP is an exciting season. It is complicated. There's a lot of work. And I love to hear when people frame it as just 45 days.
Just 45 days.
It seems daunting, but it's just 45 days.
Yeah. Right? It's 45 days to serve our community.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Yeah.
That's like what we do.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you want to add before we go ahead and wrap this up?
For me, I would tell agents, if you can in this time frame, make sure that you give it 110%. Whether it's working 80 hours a week, it is what it is. It's only 45 days. You have the rest of the year to enjoy time. Thanksgiving, take that day off.
Of course. Yeah.
But for me as an agent, the busiest day for me was always after AEP. Was after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Black Friday was my busiest day.
Really?
Always. I don't know why.
Wow. Okay.
Because I used to get calls and people would be like, yeah. Sorry, Thanksgiving, not working. But that Friday, I guarantee you, I always had appointments starting at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
All the way till about 7 or 8. But it was the least traveled day on the road. Yeah. It was easy day to travel because everyone else is sleeping. I'm working. Yeah. So I'd schedule my appointments at 8 and then I'd work till about 8 or 9. And I remember I've caught up with my wife. Well, she's doing Black Friday shopping. I'd catch up to her at 8 or 9 o'clock at night and be like, cool, just finished my day. How many apps you write? About 15.
Oh, damn. Yeah, while everybody else is spending that money,
that's correct.
Making that money.
Absolutely right.
You're canceling out what your wife just spent.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to cancel out what she spent. But yeah, if I'm an agent, give it 110%. Don't take any days off.
Right.
Don't take a single day off this time of the year. Just make sure that you're grinding. And if you have to work on a Sunday, work on a Sunday. Work on a Saturday, work on a Saturday. Your kids will understand as you get older.
Yeah.
I have to work.
Yeah. And they're going to respect, like, oh, my dad worked.
You're being the example.
Yeah.
You're being a great example to them.
Right.
So I know our generation has been like, we want to be great parents and all this other stuff. Fantastic. But being a great parent is also showing them the fact that you did work and that you had to make sacrifices to get your family to the next level.
And value hard work.
Absolutely. So
awesome.
Yeah, that would be my tip, is just give it 110%.
That's awesome.
You don't want to regret it because you'll regret it for an entire calendar year.
Yeah, you'll be thankful in January.
Yeah. You will be, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, Joe.
All right.
Follow, like, subscribe, all that jazz. You already know YouTube stuff.
Yeah, he does that. I can't even stand saying that stuff.
All right, till the next one, man.
All right. Hey, I'm Joe. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm not even sure if I did that in the right order. But like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, our social media, however you follow us. Thank you for following us.